Greetings, adventurers. We ended rereading Menhirs Fate Rules yesterday with mentioning that there was an Apothecary Table. And sadly, I have had some conversations with somebody who knows a lot more about roleplay than I do. And including tabletop roleplay and all sorts of roleplay. And unfortunately, we couldn't figure it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue reading. And sadly, there's going to have to be some stuff that you're going to have to come back to. So I'll explain to you what the problem was. And if you can figure it out, please let me know. That'd be great. So we got to apothecary skills. And at the top, it says, for apothecary, this is where apothecary tables mentioned so far. When you select the apothecary skill, you are able to pick 3 effects from the apothecary table below. And then in the master apothecary, it says you can pick. You have another pick from that apothecary table, and that's the only 2 mentions of that table that I could see so far. So when we then take that table, the table's got 5 categories: base item, calls, skill proficiencies, roleplay effects, and fuel. Now, the roleplay effects are just light, medium, heavy, and fixation, so it doesn't look like that's what the effects that they're referring to is referring to. So that's where it gets confusing. So I'm just going to read what it says. And then within base items, calls, skill proficiencies, role play effects, and fuel, each of the items underneath does have an alignment. And either you can see the color in its alignment by color, which then refers to either fire, air, water, earth, or spirit. Or you can use the symbols, so they're using R, A, W, E, and S. So I'm just going to read what the table consists of. So base items, there's either consumables or blade oil. And consumables belongs to water, blade oil belongs to fire. Then calls has got crush, belonging to fire, stun, also fire, petrify, water, ensnare, earth, rend, fire, taunt, fire, disarm, water, stagger, air, heal wounds, sorry, it's very small on the picture, water, mend, earth, shatter is fire, counterspell is air, shielding is earth, elemental strike, spirit, increase range is increase the range of any cantrip call effect to 6 meters, is air, poison is water, and antidote is also water. So those are the calls listed in the table. They each also have numbers which haven't been referred to, so I'm going to refrain from reading those out at the moment, just because also you'll never remember and it's going to be a bit boring. Then they've got a list of skill proficiencies. All of them apart from toughness belong to the earth alignment, belong to the spirit alignment. So all of them, so most of them, apart from toughness, belong to the spirit alignment. Toughness, which is described as this increases by 1 for each use on an enchantment, that belongs to earth. So all of the other ones I'm about to read belong to the spirit realm. I can't remember what they call them. Anyway, so first one, 2-handed weapon, pole arm, light armor, medium armor, heavy armor, ambidextrous, throwing weapons, ranged proficiency, shield proficiency, I've seen worse, regenerate, focus +1. This adds 1 focus to your current focus and can take you to above your maximum. Vigor +1, this adds 1 focus to your current focus and take you to above your maximum. Do they mean vigor in that second one, maybe? Focus regain restores 4 of the character focus. Vigor regain restores 2 of the character vigor. So that's all the spirit skill proficiencies. And then the third category that's listed, so you've got base items, calls, skill proficiencies. And the third category is fourth category is fuel, which is vigor and focus. And those are both belonging to the spirit alignment. And then there's a fifth category called roleplay effects, and that's where you get the light, medium, heavy from the spirit alignment, and fixation from the air alignment. And that's all that is listed in that table, apart from the numbers, which I think are referring to amount of flicker, but again, that's not clear. So I'm really sorry that I can't be any more clear. I did read everything that's there, so hopefully that's sort of helpful. I'll read you the description below. All spells have a melee range until you take the increased range pick, so that's luckily referring to one of the things in the table. This turns the spell into a throwable weapon. Weapons of Foki with fuel are the casters of the call, so no spell vocals are required. However, without fuel, the character must have the vigor or focus themselves and an appropriate weapon, as they would if they were casting the ability without a potion, including spell vocals. So this part doesn't really make sense to me. But I'm hoping somebody's going to explain this to me at some point. Fuel, then, again, explanation. Fuel in Apothecary refers to the pools of strength that fuel those effects. So calls that can be produced by vigor requires either your personal pool of vigor to power them, or require at least 1 point of vigor fuel on the item itself. The calls that require this can be drawn from the vigor effects list. Calls that can be produced by focus require either your personal pool of focus to power them, or require at least 1 point of focus fuel on the item itself. The call that require this can be drawn from the spell list, so that's the same description for focus instead of vigor. If a call can be found on either list, then it may use either fuel source. There you go. And then they go on to roleplay effects. Yeah, that was it for today. Thank you very much for listening.